Okay, right. I think we can start. Good afternoon and good morning, dear colleagues. My name is Artur Galimov. I'm consumer and real estate analyst at Sova Capital. We welcome you on the third day of our conference dedicated to small and mid-cap companies. And right now, we're going to have a virtual call with the SAMOLET development company, which is represented today by its CEO, Anton Elistratov, managing director for finance, Andrey Pakhomenkov, and Valeria Knugursova, who's the head of investor relations. Dear colleagues, thanks very much for taking the time to participate in the call. I think at this point, I'm going to hand over to our speakers today for a short update and presentation, which will be followed by the Q&A session. Colleagues, please go ahead.
Okay, Artur, thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you for inviting us here today and giving us an opportunity to present our company. SAMOLET is a big success story and is a public Russian company established back in 2012 and based in Moscow. When we present our case, especially for those who have limited information about what we do, we usually focus on three key highlights. Lera, I don't see the presentation. Is it on?
Yes, just a second, 1 second, I'm sorry.
Okay, while we are waiting, so three key highlights. Growth, scale, and being more than just a developer. So when we talk about scale, we mention usually several things. First of all, land bank. We have the largest land bank in the industry, and this is the basis for our future growth. We have by far the largest land bank in the industry. We can build more than 30 million square meters on our land bank. And such land bank is our key asset. We actually spent more than 8 years acquiring it, and we're very proud that we managed to do it. Secondly, when we talk about scale, our scale, we say that we focus on large-scale projects. In our business, size matters, and big projects allow us to exercise economies of scale and to create quality environments in our neighborhoods. Also, when we talk about scale, we usually tell everyone that we have an ambition of becoming #1 leader. We are already leaders in many aspects of our business, but we have an ambition of becoming an undisputable leader in the industry. That will result in more than 5% of our population of the Russian Federation being our everyday lawyer customers and customers of our group. We hope to achieve it within the next 4 years. So this is the last bullet point here, if you see it. 5% of the Russian population is supposed to become our customers. Then we move on, and we tell everyone about growth. So next slide, please. So our company was established back in 2012, only 9 years ago. We launched our first project back in 2014, which is 7 years ago. 3 years ago, we were number 6 or number 7 in Russia in terms of the construction volumes. We are currently number 3 as of today, and we see that we are becoming number 2 in 6 to 9 months, with an ambition to become number 1 in 3 to 4 years. Then we say that when we talk about growth, We went public last year. Our market cap last November was 0.75 billion US dollars. Now our market cap exceeds 4 billion US dollars. And if we deliver on our promises, our market cap is supposed to quadruple in the next 3 to 4 years. So that's the ambition. And that is because our financial results are very strong. Our EBITDA is supposed to more than double each 12 months for the next 4 years. So that is our plan. Last year, we were fully represented in 2 regions of the Russian Federation. And by the year 2024, we will be represented in more than 50 regions of the Russian Federations, including full-scale development projects in up to 10 regions. And also, it's not a secret that we have an ambition to go international, and we'll do it by end of 2023. Finally, when we talk about SAMOLET, we say that we are more than just a developer. And this is something I want to touch upon, which is really important for us, because this is our new identity. We have become the first, as we call it, time-back operator, with a mission to create instruments, buildings, infrastructure, and services that help our customers to save some precious time so they can spend it on something really important and valuable. And it's not that common for development companies to have NPS, the level of satisfaction of the customers, as the key KPI of all the top managers, and we do have it. Also, I will tell you in a minute about new businesses that we launched and are launching right now. And when we talk about that we are more than just a developer, we also mentioned that our business is generally very ESG friendly. We build a lot of social infrastructure like schools and kindergartens and roads. And we are the ones who are responsible for the consumption levels that we establish in our neighborhoods, as well as consumption of resources and footprint, especially carbon footprint that we live in our neighborhoods. That is very important. So all in all, as you see, our plan is that non-development businesses will account for more than 50% of our market cap and EBITDA by the year 2025. So next slide, please. And this is the sketch. Originally, SAMOLET was launched as yet another traditional developer of mass market residential real estate. This was our core. And now our strategic outlook is changing and our business model is changing as well. This year, we divided our business and our group into 6 business segments. We're still doing development. If you see in the left corner, you see Moscow affordable high-rise residential. This is something that we started with. And now we are present in other regions, in regions other than Moscow as well. We're launching projects in St. Petersburg, Leningradskaya Oblast, Ural, and south of Russia. You see regions. And then we are now doing a huge project for the new product in individual housing construction that is important, that it will change the industry entirely. Then if you look at other parts of this business portfolio, you see that we have like a full cycle real estate platform, including brokerage services, repair services, renting services, furniture, trade-in services, instant buyout, something similar to a company called Open Door that they have in the United States. We have the company called Score. Also here we have on the right-hand side Вместе.ру, which is a social media network and messenger for people living in our neighborhoods. This is similar to the company called Nextdoor, which is extremely successful in the United States. It includes services for Internet of Things, for social messaging networks, marketplace, and other. And also we have other businesses like property management, new ventures, and funds for those who want to invest in real estate but do not want to actually buy an apartment or unit. So that means that, next slide, please. So strategically, for you to understand, when we describe our future in simple words and what we want to achieve, we go through our clients' journey, everyday journey in future. And it looks as follows. Our client wakes up in a flat that he bought from us, on a bed that he bought from us as well. He cooks his breakfast on a stove that he bought from us. It's warm and comfortable in the apartment because he's getting heat, electricity, water, and all the supplies, and even internet from our utility and telecom companies. He controls most of the features in his apartment and in his house through our app. If it's cold like today, he can switch on floor heating, which is now installed in all of our apartments. On his way out, he calls the elevator through the app, so he doesn't wait the elevator on his floor to come. He takes his children walking distance to a school that we build and operate. Then he joins the nearest co-working in the neighborhood, owned and operated by our company. While being there, he grants electronic access through the app to the delivery guy who stores the delivery downstairs in superintendent's room. His apartment is cleaned by our property management company because he has basic package subscription with our property management company. He pays for the utilities and other services with SAMOLET coins that he earned for paying his dues on time. He connects with friends in the neighborhood through our app Вместе.ру and books our community hall downstairs to play Mafia or whatever after work. And when he decides to spend summer by the sea, he places a request to make minor repair in his flat through our app. And in 2 weeks, he leaves an application to lease or sublease his apartment. When he gets a promotion, he will use our Level Up program to upgrade his apartment to a bigger one, but still necessarily in our neighborhood because he likes the quality of life that we're giving to him. And this is the description of only part of what we want to achieve. And this is the value chain of our customer. And this value chain is about quality of life. It's about time back and staying with our customer for as long as we can. Let's move on. Generally, I already told you most of the highlights. Next slide, please. So we're very proud that for the past 18 months, our NPS grew 42 points. That means that our customers, people who live in our neighborhoods, they started appreciating what we do, and they really like what we do. That is of utmost importance for us, and we really care about that. Then we move on. This is the slide about our market cap. As I told you, we went public last November. Market cap grew by 500% since October, and we're the fastest growing public Russian company on the Moscow Stock Exchange. and we like that, and we are pretty much positive that we will continue the same way in future. So this the next slide shows that we have a lot of projects. You see 43 projects in the Moscow region. We also have more than 10 projects in St. Pete. That makes it more than 50 projects in our portfolio. This is the basis for growth. We're gonna grow fast for the next 4 to 5 years, certainly. Then the next one, it's can you please show the next slide? Yeah, this is about the market. The market is the market condition is very favorable for us because the demand and supply balance looks pretty good. On the demand side, the demand is very strong because of the immigration. People are migrating to big cities, and Moscow is the center of this migration throughout Russia and CIS. Also, there is a huge shortage of square meters per capita in Moscow. We have around 19 meters per capita in Moscow, 25 meters in Russia, like 45 meters in Germany, and like 60 plus meters in the United States. So there is a big shortage of square meters in the Russian Federation. And finally, on the demand side, the demand is very strong because 80% of the properties of the buildings that we have right now on the market were built before 1980. They are already very old and people do not want to live in them. So they want to change them for a new environment with social infrastructure, with commercial infrastructure, and with all the services that we provide. This also drives the demand as well. On the supply side, the market is great. It has nothing to do with the central bank's rate. The thing is that back in 2018, they changed the rules and this legislation for escrow and project financing. It changed the market entirely. It effectively pushed out all the small, non-systematic players out of the market, and it started a huge consolidation. If you see now in the Moscow region, two companies, PIK and SAMOLET, they account for more than around 25%, quarter of the market in terms of the construction volumes. That is the sign that consolidation is coming, and it's going to be big players are going to be bigger and bigger, and small non-systematic players are going to be vanished and moved away from the market. So this is the outlook of the market, and this is the ground for us staying very positive, and we are pretty much sure that we can deliver on our promises, and we can do everything that I mentioned in the presentation. I will give the floor to Andrey. Andrey, please continue about finance and numbers.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. SAMOLET is about growth, and the following numbers can attest to that. First, as Anton said, since its IPO in October last year, SAMOLET capitalization grew from 57 billion rubles more than 300 billion rubles. Adjusted EBITDA for the first 6 months this year grew more than twice. Our assets value at more than 388 billion rubles, 1 year from our first independent valuation. It has almost doubled. doubled. And project portfolio is worth more than 326 billion rubles, or 24.6 million square meters. And it's a very important metrics. Our employees have shown engagement grow by 30%. And now we have level like the best world companies of the world of this level. Deep to our financial, and we see not on only FRS, and we first of all we want to look and show our operation results, please. Okay, here are operational results for the first 6 of this year. And you can see significant growth all metrics year on the year. First of all, it's our square meters that we sold. Our growth more than 29%. Of course, price, it's not only market, it's our sales team show this result, and price grow more than 38%. And calculated these square meters and our prices, it shows that our revenue grows more than 80%, as well 45 billion rubles on this year. Of course, you can see on this slide not only first half previous year and this year, and all full year 2020. It's very important because you see that our revenue, our price for half this year is 2020 all year. And for example, in September, our revenue, our sales equal for all year 2020. And more important information about what is price, average sales price in June. It's price 167,000 rubles square meters. Why it's important? Because this average price for our project, and we have the sale for 130,000 rubles, and others that go for 200,000 rubles. And for example, we have one of business class segment, and we're selling it for more than 300,000 rubles per square meters and more. Why it's important? Because you see this number, I mean 167 rubles. It's lowest priced in the market. And on the one hand, our average price per square meter 167,000 rubles in June, and on the another hand, we have a lot of customers who want and who can buy our flats, our square meters for this price. And this is reflected our number for the first half of this year. Next slide, please.
Just a second. I think I thought that you just switched my presentation, so I would just start it once again.
Yeah. Okay. When waiting for presentation, now we will talk about our FRS results, and we can see that our FRS results grow too. And we need to talk all these results, compare with our operation. And okay, yeah, it's okay. And we see significant growth compared for the previous year in FRS2. For example, revenue grew by 47%, gross profit grew by 48%, EBITDA grew twice. Net profit grew by 3.5 times. Let's now talk about difference between management account and FRS results. It's important to know that FRS 15 standards that specific when we should report revenue from a contract depending on the stage of construction. Ergo, when we launch the project, they work when it comes to reporting its revenue according to FRS. But on management account, we report in the line with our sales. To us, this is the most important market to monitor our business, because now we're feeling it's what is the result we will get in future. This is of course, FRS reporting is very important, and all companies use these standards for completion purpose. At the same time, management account remains our priority, and they reflect how much space we've sold and what's the price and the real revenue we will get. And this is numbers that will go in our report and the results in the end. Of course, of the end of our project, we have the same results. It's IFRS and our management account. Even now, we can see that our EBITDA for the first half more than double. Yes, and we talk about this. That's all this number we are showing, and that we are talking about. They are all backed by completed sales already closed as of day. Let us know that it's that we already beat last year of the end of the August. It means our sales. It means that we sold more than 16 billion rubles in the August, compare, for example, of our IFRS results last year. Okay. Let's now look at our financial position and debt. Perhaps this part will be most interesting for our bondholder, but we believe it's important for everyone to hear. Our dividend policy tied to our net debt to EBITDA ratio on one hand, and the other hand, we believe it's important to show how we manage our debt. It's you can see on this, our debt presently consists of two major parts. The first is corporate debt, is 31 billion rubles. The second part is our project financial debt. It's around 43 billion rubles. This brings our total debt less 75 billion rubles. It's important to know that switching to escrow account means that it's the first 1 or 2 years, the company sees negative cash flow. This is because all sales, it's our law, EBITDA and income goes in our escrow account, which remain locked away until the project we are building and selling goes into operation. It's very important because when we have permission for operation housing, it's escrow account opened and we'll get all this money. Of course, we monitor escrow account balance and how we contract space, project financial and margin. And our project financial debt in escrow amount 43 billion rubles it's today. However, our escrow balance is currently 75 billion rubles. Thus, had we closed our contract, we would have more than 30 billion rubles on our hands. And this is the escrow surplus that we would receive. And we currently have 158 billion rubles worth of the project financial income. We will be received from this contract 253 billion rubles, of which we already collect 75 billion. Therefore, we are seeing coverage of 96 billion rubles of financial from our launching project that we are currently building and selling.
I cannot hear you.
We don't hear you.
Yes, thank you. Next, we would like to talk about our future project and square meters that we need to show the growth we will get. All these forecasts are calculated based on real project and various stage of completion. Some of them will receive construction permission today, other tomorrow, but again, let's repeat, this is calculated based on real projects that we will already have. In 2020, we launched 9 rounds of ongoing projects and 4 rounds of new projects. In 2021, we are planning the construction of 25 new rounds in current and new projects. The breakdown is 17 rounds in current project and 8 in new one. So far this year, we have already launched 12 rounds in current and 6 in new projects. That means we have only got 2 more that project in launch and 5 ongoing round. We will do this by in the end, so they fulfill our obligation to our investor and shareholders. There are 37 rounds in the pipeline for 2022 and 30 more for 2023. Next, look to how these rounds translated to meters. Yeah. In meters, we are seeing huge growth. Obviously, launching the project of round takes some time. There's cumulative effect in place here. So the growth in square meters that we see happens this way. Take the 6 new projects we launched this year. This came in different time. Some is February, some in August or September. Obviously, this year they will add different volumes. One 50,000 square meters, another maybe only 20,000 square meters. But the next year, all these projects we will have on our balance sheet for more than a year, bringing revenue, EBITDA, and of course net profit for our shareholders. As a result, the projects advised at our plant, we will see the total round launched volume 2021 will increase by 67% compared to 2020. And this growth will carry on, of course. Okay. Let's look to our business focus. Yeah, Lera, please, okay. To the coming next year. Yeah, thank you. So based our project and square meters, we think the following number for the future. How Anton said, our square meter grow, and it's grow not only our square meters and our EBITDA. And you can see next year our revenue in EBITDA will increase 2 times. In money terms, our sales volume grow 100 billion rubles 2021. In 2022, it will be exceed more than 200 billion rubles. In 2023, it will be expect more than 260 billion rubles. EBITDA will grow more than 140% in 2022 compared to 2021. And another 67 in 2023 compared to 2022. It's also important to know that Renovation, it's St. Petersburg-based company that runs renovation in the region. It's not included in this number. We announced this acquisition this month, and we have recently, now we have 5%, and we're increasing our share on this company to 100%. And so this number only including projects that are currently in our pipelines and which will bring in the results that we are seeing on the screen. Yeah, and I'd like to repeat again to relevant or key message. We stressed it early. We believe that our business development perspective is based on these 3 pillars. Our results, our new project, and our company philosophy as whole underline our scale and market leadership. We believe sensible growth and go what we promise, and we are more than just developer.
Yeah, this is our case, and we are ready to answer any questions that you have.
Anton, Andrei, thank you very much for such a comprehensive introduction, I would say, and I think this is a very nice foundation for opening our Q&A session. Dear participants, please use a Q&A section in your Zoom to type a question, which our speakers, I hope, will be happy to address. And we've got a first question. What is the latest net gearing ratio and guidance on the net gearing ratio? So I guess that's about leverage.
Yeah, this is kind of tricky. Net gearing ratio – это соотношение собственных и заемных средств, Андрей. So when we talk about corporate level debt, that is debt to EBITDA ratio is less than 2, and we always hope to stay on the conservative side. This is the comfortable level. Probably Andrei would comment on that. If we're talking about project level, we get project finance from different banks, and if LLCR ratio is more than 1.25, that means that we're getting 100% of leverage. We don't use our equity in projects like that. Only when we start for the designing stage and to launch a project, but then we get project finance. As I told you, most of the stories that we heard that were not success in real estate are related to companies bringing on a lot of debt. We don't want to do that. That is exactly why we had a strategy. Starting from 2012, we were collecting and acquiring our land bank without paying huge amounts of cash for it. We focused on those big land plots that were located outside of Moscow, and we were trying to get them to pay for them in a sharing unit form, or to ask the owner to contribute them into the joint venture, so that we do a project and split the dividends and the profits of this project. Therefore, our land bank is valued at around 350 billion Russian rubles. We have a really low debt because we didn't pay money to acquire it. And that was possible before 2019. Now the model is changing because since 2019, many of the players and competitors from the industry realized that our strategy was a good one. So now when they see a land bank or a land plot, they also try chasing the owner and paying money for it. So it's getting more and more difficult to acquire same land plots as we did years before. That is because now I believe it's almost impossible to replicate what we did. It's almost impossible to get the same kind of land plot bank without any huge debt. That's the case.
Right. Okay. Do you think that in light of this competition, you may be revising your business approach towards a land bank expansion going forward?
Yeah. Now that the market has changed, we have, as I told you, the biggest land bank, 30 million square meters. That would allow us to stay comfortable for the next 10 years. Let's put it this way. But still, we are looking for new projects in other segments, in other areas, in other locations. And for those projects, we are now ready to pay cash just because the market has changed. It's really difficult now to get something and to pay for it either by units, as we did several years ago, or to get those land plots into joint ventures.
That's very interesting, because some of your competitors that participated in our calls just a couple of hours ago were saying that they're going the other way around. So from outright land purchase, they're now trying to engage landlords into different sorts of profit sharing agreements. But obviously the land bank structure looks completely different from yours at the moment. So you guys are going there's some sort of a convergence in terms of land bank model as market is changing.
Yeah, let's be honest. When we started collecting those land plots, we had very little competitors, because they were telling us that those projects that we were acquiring, they would give us rather little margins in terms of EBITDA and profits. And they were acquiring land plots in the center of Moscow. And when the market has changed, and now we have healthy margins, and Andrey showed you the margins that we have right now, it's around like 30% EBITDA margins. Everyone understood that was a good thing to do, to collect those land plots. Now the market is very different. It's very competitive. And, when we see something that we want to get, there is always a competitor. Previously, when we approached someone, he said, no, I'm not ready to give it up to you to contribute into our joint venture. Let me, check other options. And he browsed the market, tested the market, and no one was ready to pay cash for his assets. And we were like turning his illiquid assets into cash. So it usually took us from 6 months to 4 years to complete the deal, because there were no competitors. Now it's very different. The market is very competitive, and we cannot negotiate transactions for 4 years like we did some time ago, unfortunately.
Interesting. Right. Let's move on in terms of questions from our participants. Can you please give us some background on how your clients are funding the purchase? Through mortgages, cash, etc. Do you work with same finance partners on all projects?
Yeah, let's put it this way. If you look at our customer is a young family, usually an average of 30 to 35 years old, having 0, 1, or 2 kids. Their household monthly revenue is around 150,000 Russian rubles. And what they usually do, they have some money to make the first installment, but more than 75% of our customers, they use mortgage from the bank to buy an apartment. So more than 75%. And the mortgage rate is important for them. Now the market is changing as well. A few years ago, people were buying apartments using mortgages for 7 or 10 years. Now the 10-year is more around 20 years. So the annual or the monthly payment stays the same, even though the price of the unit, the price of the apartment grew many, many times. their monthly payment is still the same. And most of our customers, they don't actually care about the total value of the apartment or unit as long as it, continue to grow. What they really care about is about monthly mortgage payments, because they have 100 or 150,000 Russian rubles. They spend 50,000 for buying food. They are ready to spend another 40 to 50,000 rubles for mortgage payments. So they have to choose between getting a mortgage or getting a lease. And for them, it's usually better to get a mortgage because the apartment is new. The price of the apartment grows and the monthly payment is the same, and it's their property. So that's the case. About banks and financial partners, we work with all of the top Russian banks. We usually use 30 Russian banks that our customers or clients can apply to get a mortgage. And of course, the leaders, the rating of our leaders, it's very much similar to the rating of leaders on the market. I won't tell you the names, but it's more or less the same.
Right. Understood. Thank you very much. I see that the question on average cost of corporate debt was addressed by Andrey. It's around 9.15% on average. We've got a next question about the market. What is the breakdown of mass market business and elite segment in the investment property?
Let me put it this way. So at this stage, what we're doing affordable housing, mass market, and some comfortable and business class projects. At this stage, we don't have elite or premium classes in our portfolio. We're planning to expand and we're planning to launch new companies, either by buying new already established players or launching new projects internally. When we talk about our projects, which are once again mostly affordable housing, including comfort and a business class, we have very little investors buying apartments from us. Previously, the percentage of investors investing not for the purposes of living themselves was even less than 5%. And now this percentage has increased slightly. It's somewhere in between 10 and 13%. So that's the case, very low. Usually people buy mass market properties because they have a demand, because they got married, or they got kids, or they got a divorce, or they need to bring in their parents or someone else. So our target audience is someone who has a demand.
Right, and maybe also as a small follow-up to your potential expansion plans, you've mentioned that potentially the company may acquire some companies engaged in a more premium housing construction. And in terms of geographical expansion, obviously you have a very strong footprint in Moscow region. Would you imagine that SAMOLET may be expanding beyond Moscow region into other regions, or it's premature and you still see lots of scope to develop in Moscow region and also in St. Pete, given that you have recently acquired SPB company?
Yes, exactly. Last week we announced that we acquired SPB Renovation, a big player in St. Petersburg and Leningradskaya Oblast. We're also planning to announce several regional projects within the next 3 to 5 months. They will be, as I told you, in the south of Russia, in Ural district, as well as Northeast district. So we have a separate team working on this project. This is a separate business segment headed by Alexander Pakhomenkov, who was previously an independent director on our board. We are very much positive that they will be able to launch a lot of new projects within the next 2 to 3 years, because this is regional development is becoming important both for ourselves, for the regional governments, and for the customers that want to stay in those regions. So there is a lot of going on, a lot of programs to help developers to come into the regions and subsidize social infrastructure in cases like that. And of course, most of the governors of those regions, they are happy to see leaders of the industry like SAMOLET coming to their regions and starting up operations. So that's that looks like a win-win situation for everyone.
Right. We have literally maybe 6-7 minutes before the end of the call, and we still have a couple of questions from the chat. The first one, if there is a sort of a downturn on the property market in Russia, what is your risk management like?
Yeah, well, I would also ask Andrey to comment on that, but I will start. I mean, generally, as we discussed, the market conditions are dependent on supply and demand balance. As we see it right now, we don't actually see any grounds for the downturn in terms of our industry. If we look at the Russian economy generally, let us put it this way. Our customers are not getting any wealthier. For the last probably 7 to 8 years, the household disposable income that they have is growing other way around from like it used to be bigger, but still people have a demand, and the government needs to solve that problem. That means that in case there is a downturn, in case something happens generally to the market, because I told you in the industry, the supply balance, the supply demand balance is very good, looks good. That means that there will be a lot of stakeholders interested in supporting the industry, because steel makers, coal makers, plastic makers, producers of many types of the materials, construction companies, they depend a lot on us. That is exactly why when this COVID crisis happened, the first government session during this COVID crisis in March, the topic of that first government session was construction and development, because not because players and developers have a very strong lobby, it's vice versa, because at this stage, guys from other industry, they consolidated around government, asking the government to support us, because we mean a lot for them. I mean, you know, we take material services from them. And if you close us, or if there is a downturn in the industry, that means that it will have a huge impact on the economy of the Russian Federation generally. So that's the case. Andrey, probably you can add something.
Yeah, I think yes, and I would like to add 2 points. First, we are one of the cost efficiency. And second, we have the low price of our apartments. It means we can collect all customers who want to buy new apartments.
Right. Okay. We are very short of time, to be honest. Maybe very briefly on the last question, which is about contracting out services to smaller third-party developers. Do you also do that like some of your peers?
No, we don't do that. We are more like an engineering company. We don't have people that work for us that are construction people. We hire them on the market as well. All of our subcontractors and contractors are hired through or engaged through tender procedures on the arm's length. We don't do it for smaller players.
Okay.
Artur, you're switched off. You're on mute.
Yeah. Yes, sorry for that. I think we are almost fully exploited our time limit, so I think we can conclude the call at this point. Anton, Andrey, Valeria, thank you very much again for taking the time to participate in this presentation. This is very important for investors and analysts, particularly given that SAMOLET is a rising star, not only on the real estate market, but hopefully on the entire stock market. And we will be looking forward to seeing you further.
Yes, thank you very much for hosting us here today. Thank you.
It was our pleasure. Thank you, and I wish everyone